Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together! Alrighty, so we just had a fabulous, cute and snuggly time, and we went to sleep like practical people. And now, the beast is curled up in a familiar way on top of the low hill nearby where Asra and I go to wake it.
When?
Rude, why are you going to wake it? Rude.
Sorry to do this again so soon.
The beast, no.
No trouble. I want to run.
It was a depression sleep because I can't run. No.
Oh, that's terrible.
I don't need Asra's help to get on this time, but I take his hands nonetheless.
A single hand.
I use one of his hands to hold while I climb up because I want to hold his hand.
Okay.
I wanna hold your hand. The temperature has dropped, but his touch is just as warm. He is breathtaking in the moonlight.
I guess we really took a nap. We really
just
took
a
maybe
very
like
short little nap.
Like a 4-hour nap, maybe 3-hour,
be.
2-hour nap.
I don't know what season it is, so it depends on how long the nighttime is here, but it was just getting dark. No, then there was full moonlight through the window, so it had become full dark by the time we went to sleep. And then, yeah, we slept
We still have moonlight.
And we still
Do
have...
you know that moonlight at night, depending on what world you're in, because I don't know, honestly, it could be, that could be the excuse, but, like, your moon actually cycles faster
than your night cycle?
So if we're talking about our world, so the moon actually has a faster cycle, which is why you can actually see the moon if you know what you're looking at during the day.
Actually, the moon is frequently out during the day. It doesn't just line up with the nighttime cycle, and it moves... Nope. And because it goes around the Earth faster than the Earth turns, it changes where it is in the sky day by day, season by season, at different times. And so, like, one of the things that has always bothered me, and I've mentioned it a couple of times in other playthroughs, is that you never have werewolves in the daytime, but you can absolutely have a full moon right at noon in the sky next to your sun or on the horizon or whatever.
I feel like there should be like a new version.
And I need to know if it's moonlight, not overpowered by other light, and also... Tonight is the full moon, but the whole moon passed during the day, so nothing's happened. You know? Like,
that would be interesting, right?
Be like, oh my god, guys, it's the full moon, but the moon is setting at 6 p.m. It'll be gone by the time it gets dark. You know, like,
that would be really interesting, actually.
So we can party because we'll be more powerful because it is full, but it won't affect us and make us crazy.
That would be awesome. I wish more people would pay attention.
Werewolf parties.
Yeah, werewolf parties.
He is breathtaking in the moonlight.
Hold on tight.
To you?
Hold on tight, little spider monkey.
Bracing against the winds, because we are going really fast. We race across the desert the way we came. Back to Vesuvia. Do we remember to lock the cabin? It's probably warded, but I haven't noticed any wards, and I noticed magic everywhere else. It's fine, no one visits
considering
the
fact that we didn't have to clean anything, and it was just spotless, I imagine there are wards on it. It's just
But I didn't notice that.
That's okay, you're not supposed to.
Oh.
That means they're good
wards.
It's
a shelter from the storm.
Oh, Book 9, Shelter from the Storm, Chapter 1.
I squint into the mid-morning sun.
Whoa.
Because we rode the rest of the night and into the morning.
Wow.
You know what? Okay, if Julian's route is they never bathe and he's disgusting because of all the shit they get into in and out of canals and in and out of beetles and in and out of blood and all of this stuff.
This one they're also super dirty.
No, I was going to say, this one is more about they never sleep.
Well, yeah, that too.
This one, if the focus of that one was God, we need a bath, the focus of this one is God, I need to go to bed. So far. Because of...
I mean, the thing is honestly, like, Nadia slept the most. Nadia actively had a lot of sleeping crap, I think, going on.
And a lot of go to bed, stay in bed,
and also a lot of, like, lounging around and not really wanting to do anything.
Serious amounts of take a break.
Yeah, and, like, Julian was just, like...
So, okay, so...
Constantly horny?
Having seen Julian's route, it really was, there was a prevailing theme of, we need to get clean. And then in Nadia's route, there was a prevailing theme of, we need to get to work. We need to start the story. We need to do things.
Nadia, are we going to do anything? Nadia, no.
And I'm wondering if the sleep theme will persist in here.
Yes.
Trying to make out the palace as Asra and I arrive in the fields outside of Vesuvia.
And yeah, Asra's thing seems to be right now not sleeping, so we need to sleep in this one?
That's what I said. We're seeing if it persists and going, oh my god, I need
Because I will actually say, there's far more, like, homely stuff in this one, which is kind of charming. Like, you've got, you know, we're making food, we're doing this stuff. Like, because before, like, with the food, like, Mazalinka made food. And then with Nadia, you just look at food, because Nadia had servants to bring you food, so you didn't really make anything together. And then she weirdly dressed you in a cloth. which was very
That one time.
That was still really fucking fun. Here you go!
It's a cloth.
You're like, it's a cloth.
Maybe you'll wear it to the ball. I hope I know how to wrap a toga.
Well, shit.
Or something. Right. Outside of Vesuvia, I'm yawning, covered in shaggy beast hairs.
Because you still won't fucking name it. I cannot tell you how strangely, profoundly rude I find that to be. I actually also dislike stories that are like, well, I'm trying to let you come up with your imagination. I'm like, then give them a name. But the thing is you constantly keep saying beast. I'm just annoyed because they're clearly a sentient, on some level, animal. Person. So they should have a fucking name. Or you just go, can I give you a nickname so that you don't call them beast because beast is a specific thing.
If you call them the beast, it should be capitalized.
Yes, exactly.
That's their name. Okay, but I need to refer to a Tumblr meme.
Sure,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
It's really important.
Meme for me.
So, he rode through the desert on a horse with no name for 7 days or 10 days. He could have given a name on any one of those days. That jerk.
Yeah.
Been through the desert on a horse with no name. You could have named it!
You bitch! People love naming things. I think that's the other thing that bothers me. People love to name things. We'll name inanimate objects. We'll talk to things. We'll give it 30 million nicknames also, too. I'm like, I'm annoyed.
Some people see a bird and they're like, that bird is now Bob. Like, people name things.
Yeah, they do all the time.
He drinks half the water and passes it to me.
Like the entire...
Asra is also covered in beast hairs. While I drain the rest, I fixate on the gleam of the sun of his eyelashes as he peers out toward the palace.
Honestly, if he has white eyelashes, you're not going to get much of a gleam because they disappear. Okay, so I'm sorry. I know they paint him with the lashes.
If they're really, really thick, you would see them.
I knew. Okay, so I'm not kidding. The person. So when I worked at McDonald's, there was an albino woman, I assume, who would come in with her kids, and she had incredibly thick lashes, but she was very much like, I cannot fucking see. She had to shield her eyes.
I remember she squinted all the time.
But
I wanted to get her sunglasses. I remember seeing her at the store a few times.
But the big thing was about it was I was like, you really couldn't see because it was white. There's nothing for anything to reflect off of. It was just like there's no sun bouncing off of white. It's just a.
It depends. Maybe his are shiny. Maybe he oils them.
What he does is he's secretly an iridescent dragon from Flight Rising.
Sure, sounds good.
Yep.
All right. What I'm really doing is just admiring his face, okay? I'm
looking for any excuse to be poetic about anything about Asra. Even a pimple looks like...
I'm picking something because I can't say his whole face is beautiful for the 12th time. The 37th time.
Honestly, though, that would be really relatable because you'd just be like, God, I have done... You're beautiful.
You're just so pretty.
You're so pretty. I actually, sometimes I have laughed at some of my characters that really, or even just, me sometimes, where I'm like, if I'm very fond of something, I'm like... I have no descriptiums. You are so good. I love you. I understand now why everybody just goes, I love you 9 million times, because you're like, I don't know what else to say. I've said so. Word. You're like, I need more than I love you. I need more than you're beautiful.
You're beautiful. Yes. Okay.
Toward the palace. Asra sadly. Asra looks at Kohai.
As long as it doesn't get cold and icy, you're bad.
Look at that.
I'm looking. Wait, what are we looking at?
Look at that.
Sorry? Despite the blazing daylights where we are walking, the beast is walking or we are walking? I think the beast is walking.
I think we're just taking a break.
I don't think we disembarked.
We take a foot break.
The palace towers are gathering dark, rosy clouds. Oh dear. That escalated quickly. Even here, the air is churning, heavy, charged with energy. Think it might be about to storm.
No, Kohai, we don't necessarily have to go straight to the palace, so we could go home and rest.
Right. You seem like you are...
What is
the word? You are rousing.
Excuse
Stalling?
me? No, hang on. Excuse me. You're acting like Nadia.
Yes, actually, that's a bit like Nadia. It's exactly like
Nadia. That's weirdly like Nadia?
I think he's just... remember how... Okay, so I think the prevailing theme of every route, despite anything we've noticed or cared about, is just none of them want the plot, so they're all trying to run away from it. But the thing is in here...
Which is weird. Even when they want the plot,
I thought about something. So I thought about something. So remember how we discussed how this route is the most successful mystery so far?
Right.
Because it actually is focusing on things you don't know and stuff you don't understand. what frustrates me that I only realized recently is that the person you are most interested in and most intimate with, and who is also closest to you in your whole life, is the one making it a mystery because he's not sharing the information.
Which...
So, as far as I know, it wouldn't be a mystery if Asra told you everything. And so it's sort of...
Or if Asra was completely clear as to actually how far his memories went, as to what he remembers,
or
as
what
to
he knows.
what he knows, as to what he understands.
Any of those things.
Honestly, okay, those can make for interesting character dramas, but they're not necessarily what I would call a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Because mysteries, I think, are far more specific, where you're actively also trying to figure out something. And you're right, in this case, it really is only a mystery, because Asra won't fucking talk to us. And that's very frustrating.
Holding back information. Also, that's sort of like the author holding back information, and you're like, if you'd have just told me that I saw that, I would have known. Anyway,
yeah.
Also, his eyelashes are still black because he used mascara, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Lots of mascara.
Cold.
Yeah, maybe.
Was he not on the ride back? Can only do so much for you. We should probably sleep for real.
Are we saying we fell asleep at the Beast at a full speed run?
Where we have no saddle,
no
way
straps,
to wrap
no
us
reins.
in.
No.
Now,
if it was plodding gently across the desert, sure.
It said, I want to run.
And it also whooshed off so fast there was wind blowing in our face. That is fast.
No.
There was no sleeping there.
No.
Asra, how did you
also,
sleep?
Kohai hasn't expressed in this one that they know how to ride.
Nope.
So,
they're just barely getting the hang of it. So no, I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
At this point, they've probably been jostled a fuck ton, and...
Imagine riding in the back of a flatbed truck, but your face is straight towards the wind and falling asleep.
Yeah, that's not happening.
While you're sitting and trying to balance on like a box.
Like with your legs spread apart in an uncomfortable position you're really not
That's fine.
familiar with things
Sleep for
jostling
real.
between your legs.
His purple gaze slides from me to the palace and back to me. The clouds are darkening, but not where we are yet.
I'm sorry, my whole brain was like, how is that like having a green, he was green with envy, so it's a purple gaze?
Okay.
So he has his green gaze. It was some sort of like metaphor for something. You're like, no, his eyes are purple. No, but like...
Yes.
Anyway, keep going.
Not a metaphor, actually purple.
All will be well rested when we present ourselves to Nadia. Sir, you have not fucking cared. You tried to get yourself fucking killed.
What I need you to know is that he is just trying to avoid the thing that I know he's trying to avoid because he took me away from it. I don't know what it is or why, but I understand by knowing him that
and also
he is trying to avoid a confrontation or going to do the big important thing that may not be good.
Okay, I did actually kind of realize just in a moment that the fact that your character is less inquisitive in this one doesn't bother me as much. Mm-hmm. So, because I have observed your character is still written a lot like they are in the other route. So
deeply incurious.
Lacking curiosity. However, in this one, based on the fact that Asra is dad, and he literally raised you, and so you're basically following his footsteps sort of thing, whether or not you intend to.
He doesn't ask questions, so neither do you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And also, if he doesn't tell you things, that's just what it is. You just go, okay.
You have been familiar with that your entire known life.
Now, that doesn't mean that you haven't observed, perhaps, that other people act differently around you. So I imagine, as like most kids do, like, no, we do know the bread seller. We know a couple of people.
I was going to say, we haven't had that many people act around us much at all.
No, and
even
I know that.
Yes.
But I'm assuming here, so based on at least what, so Kohai said, like, people are awkward around them, right? Mm-hmm. So in this particular case, I'd be like, so they have had exposure to people. Mm-hmm. And the thing is maybe even what Kohai goes, all these people are very awkward around me, is literally going, but they're not like you, because of largely what I've run into is you.
Oh, alright.
And I'm so preoccupied with you. We shouldn't underestimate her. She's taken care of things for this long, after all.
Do you not know that Nadia was asleep? Because I think you know.
Okay, now actually that is an interesting plot question. Does Asra know that Nadia was asleep?
Was in a coma, a magical coma.
And Portia is here to caretake for her, or was here to caretake for her.
Yeah.
Because the thing is he could make this assumption. Oh, no, she's been doing this for so long, because it depends also on what he remembers.
Because
this reads as he literally doesn't remember if she's been out or not.
I would say, well, the thing is if he has memories from the last 3 years, when he's literally been raising you, he should have those.
Then he should know.
Then Nadia's been in a coma for at least that long, he should know.
Or, if they didn't tell everyone that she was in a coma...
Well, they wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying, like, she's been completely invisible for 3
She's
years.
been missing in action and completely non-present, non-ruling.
People have
years.
probably been acting in her name, which is not the same as Nadia herself. And if he's going, no, well, we shouldn't underestimate her. Why? You haven't seen her for 3 years. And based on also the other routes talking about how badly the courtiers enjoy handling things, because I think they do it on purpose, I think he, I love this.
You'd think he would notice.
Yeah, I think so,
that
too.
he would notice something was not right.
This seems goofy.
On the other hand, maybe he was just so occupied with raising an adult child that he didn't check in.
Yeah.
After all, he slows our steady pace to a stop and turns to me, waiting for my call. My choice? My call. Okay.
Right. We should go to the shop. We should go to the palace.
Oh. We should go to the palace because I want to get it over with. I hate the anticipation of stressful things, even if I'm tired.
I'm also like, we did already sleep. I find that to be so funny. So the thing of, we fell asleep on our friend Beast. We fell asleep on Beast, and we also though took a nap beforehand, and sometimes honestly that can really refresh you for a long time.
But the thing is it also, I don't think that Kohai is fooled for a second of, we should rest first. I think Kohai is going, you're clearly stressed about this. You don't want to do whatever it is you need to do.
Or, if it's true, and now we're going for, let's just say we're going to try to establish a pattern, potentially. Kohai going, the last time you asked me a question like this, it was a test. So, is this also a test where we should go help the people rather than go satisfy ourselves?
Yeah.
So that kind of question, because I don't know what the relationship, honestly, beforehand has been like, because it sounds like it's very different.
He is testing Kohai continually. I can see that. Kohai thinking, one, it's a test, and two, going, are you trying to see if I will do what is right or moral or appropriate? Going, you've indicated that we really need to go there. And because you don't usually indicate that we need to do anything, that means a lot to me. So if you're testing me, we should go to the palace.
Okay.
We should go to the palace.
We should. I would rather crawl into our bed for a week, but those beetles we saw, it was a test. That is really weird. Why is it? Or sort of?
I don't know. Maybe you actually do go home and crawl into bed if you choose the other one.
But
and there's a little interlude.
I don't know. I'm just like, it still sounds a little weirdly patronizing. Again, like, you're largely following his lead and him going, now these things. You're like, I don't have information. Well, who's Lucio? Who's this other thing? Can people talk to me?
The form.
The
Have
form.
You seen the creature?
The goat?
Did you hear the voice or see the figure?
Did you see the furry that I didn't draw that exists? Which also
furry.
existed in earlier versions of the game, because Nadia apparently had white rabbit guards, which I think is kind of cool.
I do like that. I kind of missed that I never met that. I was just say, but there's a if Asra made the Arcana deck, he does draw a lot of furries because all of the cards are represented that way. And so he probably has notebooks, sketchbooks, things where he practiced the designs before he put them together. Even if he didn't make it through drawing art, he still would have needed to conceptualize them clearly if he made it with his mind and magic. So yeah, notebooks full of furries.
So a common thing that people actually would use extensively, and this is just historically, would use like pieces of bark if you could write on it, or pieces of dried leaves. So you'd use like charcoal, or you would literally draw in the sand. He became toothless. I'm practicing my art.
I appreciate that, but like,
and suddenly I'm reminded of a Castlevania meme.
Oh dear. I say they seem like
it looks like anime.
Oh god.
I'm okay.
Wow, that's a really good drawing. It looks like anime.
Okay, God. I actually had somebody at one point literally
Are you drawing anime?
No, he says, oh, that looks really cool. It looks like anime. Like, I actually had and I was like, what?
It's okay.
The most anime.
Alright, with those beetles we saw.
If we tell Nadia about them before they get there, she may come up with a plan. She always does.
Asra?
You really sound like you intimately know her, and she literally doesn't know who you are. What the fuck is going on?
I've never met her, but I know her really well.
And also, she seemed really confused.
She's never met me, but I know her really well. So your memories are all intact? Well, only the ones about Nadia.
What?
Okay, but hold on.
I can't.
Before Asra, are there not, like, sort of red, rosy-looking clouds around, swirling quickly, unnaturally, and unlike weather, around the castle? Might those possibly be the flying beetles, and they are already at the castle then, do you think?
Also, like, okay, so, like locust swarms are really fast.
But they're not red.
No. But I'm saying, like...
Beetles could be fast.
Beetles could be fast.
It's like...
Like, I guess they're not necessarily as fast, depending, but so these beetles are obviously, one, unnatural, and two, I do not imagine, due to the fact that they are unnatural, that they wouldn't have a need to settle down. So one of the reasons why locust swarms are so awful is because when they exist, they eat everything.
They are hungry.
Which is also why they're fast, but they're also incredibly slow.
Because they will stop to eat things.
Because they need to stop to eat things, because otherwise they die.
I would say, but there's usually a lot of movement while that's happening, landing and re-landing, and so it just looks like a moving swarm, and then stuff disappearing.
And sometimes there's so many, they literally block out the sun, and it is a fucking weird experience.
I'd say, but also, like, locusts are tasty, and you could eat them.
Yes! Mm-hmm. I don't think you can eat these beetles. My suspicion is this is bad.
She always does.
We'll need to tell her what we know about that goat, too.
What do we know about it?
What do we know?
That you can see it with telescopic vision, no matter how far away it is? I doubt Nadia is going to be happy to hear about either one of these problems. The Countess won't be pleased.
If her intuition is what it used to be, she may already know. About...
I'm glad you have known her so long. How come
the goat
she
and the
didn't
cat
know you?
Why? Yeah, actually.
Oh, wow. Back to the forest. The fields give way to the forest. We're lucky. It's going to rain any minute. Okay, so what I've got again is you've got fields that are probably farming fields. Mm-hmm. Then you've got forest. Then you've got city. Then you've got fields. Then you've got the palace. It's okay.
It's fine. I also don't know what direction we're literally coming back from.
And if it's the same all the way around except for the seaside, because we never go to the seaside. Or mention it.
Or go along the coast, which would actually be a really easy path to potentially take, depending on what you're taking.
At all about how the cardinal directions relate to the palace or our land.
Or also the
ocean
fact
is to the west
that,
or something.
like, merchants' roads or trade routes were a very specific established thing and have been throughout history, because one of the things is it was an agreed upon thing, and they actually had literally employed people who would go along and actually guard those routes.
Because it was, everybody was...
They were very intrinsic to the function of your kingdom and your world. Anyway, it's fine. It's
going to rain any minute. I bump into Asra's side when he stops walking and blinks. I open my mouth to ask him why, when Faust shoots out of the grass. Meow! She wiggles all over his surprised, twisting form. That thing where you sort of like, wah! And up your pant leg and you're scooting and wriggling and trying to see the thing. Climbing him to curl in a tight pile on top of his head.
Thank you! Stop! But you're on my head now. Why am I squealing stop when you're on my... Stop.
Stop being on my head.
Stop being on my head! I am very ticklish on the top of my head.
Or it's too silly. I can't have a snake hat.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a celebratory trill of her tongue, because she can make noises. Unlike other snakes, which I may never have met, Faust peeks around at me, sending me a wave of wordless contentment. She likes being a hat.
Okay, so, like, snakes can make noises?
Can they?
So, like...
Like vocalizations.
I don't... Like, the thing... Noises is different than vocalizations, though. That was why I was like... Clearly mythical made-up animal.
Yes, clearly magical snake.
Especially not considering the fact that she displays neurological disorders that are actually incredibly harmful, if you know anything about spider
Very dangerous to real pythons, but just fun expression for her.
Yes, which is fine. I said, well, now that everybody is accounted for,
were we
waiting for?
Trying to account for everybody?
What? We are headed back to the palace. I know. What? Blame Kohai for being responsible.
Faust, no, I don't like being responsible. No.
That doesn't... What?
Thunder shakes the sky and leaves the treetops shivering. There's a big storm coming. He did not notice until now, I think.
Can you feel the ground moving? Every creature in the forest is finding shelter.
Look at his face on Faust. I know. The little smile.
David, the boop.
Must boop. Boop.
Boop the snoot!
He looks excited. He looked very concerned, but now excited. His hair rises in the humid air, while Faust ducks under his collar. He gets fluffier hair.
Doesn't it need to rain first?
The thing is if
before it gets more humid?
If it's hot, you could just have a humid front roll in like crazy and a storm behind it.
Yeah, but usually wouldn't you be like, ah, yes, a fog or a wind?
Or it's suddenly humid. No, I noticed the humidity when we walked into the forest. That's why I said it's going to rain soon.
I was about to say, his hair raising is also, I'm like electricity, because that was my first reaction, and then it turned into humidity. And
I feel like it wouldn't raise. I feel like it would become more curly.
Yes.
So for people, for every person I've ever known that has a curl or a wave to their hair, when it gets damp, they get a bit more. That's why people hair gets frizzy, because they're not, linked up, and so they all just start curling. But the thing is, if you have slightly curly hair and it's damp, it'll be a lot more curly.
Yes.
And so that doesn't make it rise, it makes it twist, ring,
wiggle,
loop more. Faust under his collar, which is literally under a metal necklace. Nope.
Are we talking about the scarf?
You mean his collarless shirt and collarless jackets? Because they're not breasted at all.
It's so bad he doesn't have a collar.
I think Faust is crawling into his red snake scarf.
Yeah, I think that this snake scarf collar.
Yes. When he weaves his fingers through mine, my heart surges to life. Thrumming in my chest.
He does this, so this was expected. When he does this thing.
Yeah.
Or that was just inevitable. When he does this thing, and somehow it was leading up to it. I'm like, how is that leading up to it?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to say it. Not, he does this thing.
There's a place we can hide, where my friend Muriel lives. I mean, it's not far.
Where my
we
friend
can wait
lives.
it out there.
I won't say who.
You've
never met them.
You should just say Muriel. Hey, I have a friend in this area. His name is Muriel. We could go stay at his cabin.
But Asra never says anything straight, so it makes sense he wouldn't say it. He's not going to say the beast's name. He's not going to say his friend's name.
So part of the thing is I understand in pieces where it adds to the mystery. But again, what bothers still me, now that my friend has pointed it out, is going we would have so many more basically answers if Asra would just talk to us, someone that he is purportedly interested in fostering an equal relationship with, an equal partnership with, which does not seem to be his behavior based on everything else.
I don't think he does that kind of relationship.
I don't think he does either. I think he's been stuck so much in master mode that he can't put it down.
Also, parent mode.
Parent mode.
You don't tell the child everything. You don't show and give and teach the child absolutely everything all at once on the first day.
Oh, well, I do, or at least I try. Whenever I've been around
Whenever
kids,
you give Scandal an infant, they teach them all the way through college graduate level day one.
I try to explain to any youths that I've
tell them everything.
No.
You cannot tell them the whole body of knowledge, so you have to pick and choose on each day, and it depends on what you remember and think of.
Yeah,
and if you don't have lesson plans ordered out by some of the adults with children that I have known for what they should learn each year and what parts of the year they should learn it in and when to introduce this, and they're and when they're exactly this age, that's when I'll start to talk about drugs, and exactly this age, then I'll talk about sex, and then at this age, that's when they learn about politics, and we'll just talk about that. Yeah, it's okay. The clouds break, bringing a torrential downpour down on our heads. Hand in hand, we escape to find shelter.
Hang on. Mm-hmm. Is clouds breaking?
Pouring rain?
Yeah.
The storm breaks and it pours rain, but I think the clouds breaking is actually coming apart.
I think so.
Actually, the sky clearing.
That's why I was kind of I feel like that's not correct. Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure a storm breaking means that the rain starts falling, whatever. But I'm pretty sure also that the clouds breaking.
The reason I'm asking is because what I remember. Okay, and again, this doesn't mean this is true, and I'm not looking this up right now because we're gonna go too late.
We don't have a lot of time.
But the thing is that what I remember from a lot of stories is people would be like, and then the storm breaks, and that was the end of the storm. It wasn't and now the storm is finally in swing. It finally started raining. Yeah. And so I'm confused if that's actually the correct usage or if it's just I've only really noticed that way. Because it has actually occurred to me that I have never asked out loud going, hang on, what does that actually mean?
What does clouds breaking mean?
I just assumed because nobody in real life goes, and then we're waiting for the storm. I hear, wait inside for the storm to break. I have heard that in relation to hurricanes and in tornadoes because I've watched the Weather Channel. But within people around me, I've never heard anybody being like, the storm is breaking, or the storm is breaking. Look at how much rain there is, or whatever.
See, and I'm trying to think if I'm familiar with that as a colloquialism at all, really. I don't think
I've read it a lot.
I've read it
like
in
fantasy.
Books. Yeah, in books, but I don't think I've ever heard it in real life necessarily.
Right.
So much as like, no, I don't know. I mean, like, we're waiting for a gap in the rain. We're waiting for, the storm to calm.
I've heard about, we're waiting for a break in the storm in action movies, remember? Because they would be like, oh, the eye of the hurricane's coming when the break comes in the storm.
Yeah.
Which I always thought, that's why I'm confused. Anyway.
If I don't mind the rain.
I find
I don't mind the rain when we're running. Even when it streams down my face. Asra definitely seems to like it. Definitely likes it. I just know his mind. He grins at me as we rush from under one tree to the next, dodging the heavy drops that penetrate the canopy, except that we are not dodging them successfully because the rain is streaming down our face. But we are going to...
We're attempting.
We are... Run! Quick! Between the drops! Sorry. That's actually a quote from a movie I like.
Yes.
Quick! Between the drops! Right. Soon we reach a slumped structure, half buried under the roots of a twisting tree. It doesn't look very welcoming. I draw close to Asra's side, absorbing his warmth, as he traces glowing patterns in the grain of the door. Okay, I also have to say, I'm going to point this out again. We have been to Muriel's hut in the rain a few times now. So, if you have a giant tree above you, and the roots are growing into your house...
You're fucked.
Sorry. And it is a smooth, tree that has, like, curving and twisting built to it. The water runs down it and will run straight into your house via the roots.
Yes.
Like
I said, you're fucked.
Your house is not a shelter from the water anymore because the roots are directly filling your house with water.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll go on more.
Oh, okay.
Your friend practices magic? But...
We're going to have to find out
if the friend does practice magic.
Though based on the other routes, yes.
He does.
Which also seems...
But it's not really his own magic.
Which is...
So it's fine.
I don't know. Anyway, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. What?
I thought of something funny. So, okay. There are people who ship Muriel and Asra together for story reasons. A lot of them that I'm not super familiar with.
Asriel, I think it's called.
But it's okay.
Is what it's
but
called.
At any rate, if the dreams are like the supernatural thing of you shouldn't just be together, what if it's just jealous Muriel? What if it's just like Muriel being like, stay away from them. I like them. No. I just think it'd be hilarious.
I think it would be funny, but it also seems... Okay, so remember how we mentioned that thing where nobody seems weirdly enough kind of involved with each other?
In anyone else.
Like, they don't express jealousy, really. They, like, everybody is weirdly universally supportive, or just like, we have no conflict because I literally don't even interact with your existence at all.
No one is interested in you except for your love interest in each route.
Yes.
Yet, in every route, they are very interested in you, so all of them should find you attractive and interesting, but they do not.
So, again, remember how I said sometimes, like, now that I went and I did a little bit more research about basically usual tropes that are associated with romance.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that based on what I'm seeing, most of the Arcana weirdly doesn't, like, it's a romantic story, but it doesn't really... It skirts around the tropes and it doesn't really do much with them.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like, you're in a relationship! Ta-da! You have the romance, and then you do romantic things together. That, to me, doesn't read as a romance in the same way.
Because you're already in the relationship. So
like I said, Julian is the one, though, also, who, weirdly enough, as dramatic as he was part of the reason why I was like, actually, that one worked better as basically a romance.
For will they, won't they?
Because, well, if you're talking about will they, won't they, but also just in general for conflict.
Because you're building up to a relationship, and you're not in it.
Yeah.
And he even says, we're not in it.
Even though we were like, yes, you're right, we haven't been in one this whole
time. He also tries to break up with us and then realizes we're not together. That's okay.
It's fine.
Anyway,
Fantasy Magic, so if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos. Please feel free to honestly do any of those things because it helps a lot in regards to YouTube algorithm.
Super does.
Please also feel free to go check out our Kohai, Patreon, and our Twitch. There are links in the description. We would love to see you there. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye-bye!